Okay, so today we're going to be looking at the 10 unresolved mysteries and plot holes left hanging in Persona 5 Royal. Now, I've never seen this before. I've never seen this article before, but I thought this would be a fun idea, especially since we've been in our Persona bag, you know what I'm saying? And I'm also going to do the same thing for Star Wars, so, you know, if you guys are coming in new, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, because we're going to obviously get to that in the next video. And then after that, the video essay, which I've been promising you guys, but it's taking some time. I'm sorry. But let's get straight into it. So at number 10, we have the problems with Ren Amamamiya. I don't actually know how to say his actual second name. So let's begin at the start of Ren's troubles when he's wrongfully accused of a crime he did not commit. What exactly are his parents' connections with Sojiro? More so than that, why don't they contact Ren at all? Did not care for him in the slightest, especially when he gets sent to jail. They may as well be dead. Disney stuff. On another note, why doesn't he recognize Shido? If someone screwed up one's life, best believe they would remember a face no matter if it was dark or not. Now, okay, is this an unresolved mystery? I'd say the parents one, I guess, is an unresolved mystery. But as far as I'm aware, every Persona game, at least from 3 and 4 anyways, they've not mentioned parents. I don't even think 1 or 2 mentions any of the characters' family or parents either. Obviously, family's a little bit different, but like, because obviously in Persona 4, how have I forgotten her name? But how have I forgotten their names? But the dad and his daughter, you know, they're Yu Narakami's family. How have I forgotten their name? Oh, that's actually really bad of me. Especially as a super persona, but that is bad of me. I don't know how I've forgotten their names. But I guess the parents, that is a unsolved mystery. Would I call this a plot hole though? I mean, not really. Why doesn't he recognize Shido? The way it's portrayed in the game is that it's a very split-second thing that happens. Like, if someone randomly, like, you come to save someone from getting assaulted, and then you randomly are the one that gets the police called on you, like, I can imagine that gives you a lot of trauma, and you get what I'm trying to say. So I wouldn't really call that an issue, but yeah, let's go on to the next one. The problems with Morgana. There are a lot of issues with Morgana. First of all, does no one notice Ren carrying around in public? People like cats in Japan to... Oh yeah, one last thing I do want to say about this as well, like, his parents might not have wanted to contact him because of, you know, like, in Japan, I know, like, going to jail and being, like, a delinquent, that's a lot more frowned upon than it is in other countries, but yeah. People like cats in Japan, but to not say anything in school, for example, is strange. No one can hear him, but his talking does make a noise like a cat. Speaking of speech, when it's closed, Morgana says his other self is destroyed, but he still exists as a cat. If this is really true, then why then can everyone still understand him? They also have no parents, presuming that. I'm not gonna lie, this is a little bit of a nitpick. It's Velvet Room magic, man. Simply put, Velvet Room magic. And I guess them in school, while no one, because I mean, they mention it. The other students do mention, oh, do you hear that cat? Oh, I can hear the cat. You know, like, I wouldn't look too deep into the Morgana thing. I really wouldn't. It's just Velvet Room magic, I'll be real. Personas in disguise. Also, I'm gonna try not to spoil the next one. On another subject of Morgana, how can he exactly turn into a car, fit people inside of himself? For that matter, when he transforms again in Maruki's palace, it's a little too convenient for the plot. You might have a point there. When one really thinks about it, the vehicle situation is never really addressed for Makoto Futaba either. Makoto has a motorcycle and Futaba has a spaceship. Could they have just used Futaba's persona to fly away? I mean, fair enough. I'd assume Futaba's spaceship is a one... And I think that also the thing with Futaba's spaceship is that if you evolve Persona, obviously it becomes something different. It's not really a spaceship, but I guess she's still inside it, so, that's a nitpick too. It's a little bit of a nitpick, but I do understand. I'll give them that. Like, the Morgana turning into a helicopter was a little bit, you know, out of reach. Because obviously the reason why he's able to turn into a car is because people's cognition, for some reason, is very common for them to see cats turning into cars. Like, at least it's explained, at least the car thing. The helicopter thing. I think there might be a throwaway line, if I can remember, where they say something about the helicopters, but... Like, it's a throwaway line where they're like, oh, cats can turn into helicopters or whatever, or... I don't really remember, but... It was a little bit out of the blue, so I'll give them that, but... Escaping Akechi. How does Akechi get food? Oh, no. Bro, I remember when this first happened and everyone was so confused on how Joker got out of that. How does Akechi get fooled in the police station? This is a trick the Phantom Thieves have never performed before, and it's all a bit too convenient when being overly elaborate. For that matter, if Akechi was ordered to kill Ren, why doesn't Shido automatically tell him to go after others as well? They are a huge liability, even when Ren is presumed dead. Akechi or some of Shido's men should be keeping tabs on him. I think... Okay, I'm trying to remember now. So, the reason why they killed Ren was because they knew that the Phantom Thieves would crumble once the leader's gone. And it did make sense because obviously Akechi was with them. He knew that Ren had the wild card, and without the wild card, the rest of the Phantom Thieves, they are strong, but they would struggle if they were going to go through palaces, is the truth. Obviously, it depends on... You could say, well, if they're 99 level 99, then they wouldn't struggle or whatever. Like, in gameplay terms, but in story terms, yeah, they would struggle, because Ren is basically a jack of all trades. They were keeping tabs on the rest of the gang, but I guess what they're trying to say is, like, why weren't they, like, following them or whatever? But they kind of were, because the rest of the Phantom Thieves, everyone was kind of laying low during that point, so I'm not really too sure what they're trying to that's a nitpick. I'll keep it real, that one is a nitpick, because they were keeping tabs on obviously the rest of the Phantom Thieves. That's why they were then laying low, that's why they were then meeting in LeBlanc. Like, they were trying to, like, be a lot more secretive about what they were doing. They weren't meeting out in public anymore, because obviously Ren was presumed dead, you know. And how does he get fooled? It's a super complicated process of, if I can remember, it's like once he walks past a certain point, I'm trying to remember now. I'm trying to remember what comes first. Once he walks past a certain point, Sai gives... Yes, okay, that's what happens, yeah. So Sai gets done with her interview. Once Sai walks out, she gets Akechi to look at the phone, which puts him in the metaverse. So in his cognition, he thinks that Joker, because I'm assuming they're using his palace or where. I don't actually know where they use. That's a bit of a plot hole. They might have been using the Sai's palace, for example. So they might have put her into Sai's palace, but it's a little bit. But once Akechi then walks to the interview room, in his cognition, he's thinking that Joker is there. So once he pulls out the gun and shoots Joker, it's a cognition version of Joker. So once he walks out, he doesn't realize he's killed a cognitive version of Joker. Very complicated, very complicated. Obviously, if you guys have never played Persona 5 or Persona 5 Royal, you probably didn't understand a single thing I said, but that's the general explanation of how he gets tricked. What happened to Saturnale? Saturnale, for those who don't remember, it's a giant persona Ren is able to summon. Okay, you know, I'll give them this one. This is how they are able to defeat Yaldabaoth. After that happens, the first time the team is supposed to have lost their powers, but in Persona 5 Royal they come back. If they get their powers back, why can't Ren summon Saturnale? Starting a new chapter with Ultimate Persona would have made things a bit too easy is an obvious answer. You got me there. I'm trying to remember, does he get the world before or after? I think he gets the world, I want to say before Maruki's palace, but he might get after. I don't remember. I don't necessarily remember when exactly it happens. If he gets the world before, he didn't want to use that on that. I'm assuming the reasoning would be is that Yaldabaoth is more powerful canonically than Maruki? I don't really know though. Would I say Yaldabaoth is more powerful than Maruki? There wasn't, but I wouldn't even say so. I wouldn't even say so. I have no clue. That's all I can tell you. I don't know why he doesn't use Setanao. I'm assuming he just said, we like doing things in style and Setanao is too overpowered. That is a legitimate pothole. I don't know why he doesn't use Setanao. Obviously, if he gets the world after Maruki's Palace, then I think that's the reason why. Because Setanao, you know, once he summons it, you know, Joker breaks his chains. I'm assuming that's kind of like a shoe-in for the world, because the world is basically once you've gone through the entire journey and then you're basically all-powerful. You're not all-powerful, but it's a little bit hard to explain, but you basically have gone through the Fool's journey, essentially, which basically should mean you're at the peak of your power. Obviously, it's different for, you know, Makoto in Persona 3, because obviously he gets the universe, and but we're not talking about Persona 3. We're not talking about Persona 3 right now. So yeah, that one I'll admit is a pothole. Well, I mean, at least an inconsistency. The problem with Kasumi. Ren thinks Sumiri's name is Kasumi because he finds her notebook. This is a convenient way to give the game a plot twist later on. Does he really never hear anyone in school call her by her real name? For that matter, Sumire needs glasses apparently, and Kasumi does not. I'm trying to remember, was there any point where she was clumsy? But I don't think this is necessarily a plot hole, but... Cause I mean, yeah, I don't think he ever hears someone call her by the name Sumire. So I mean... But what I will say is that they do mention that, like, even her teacher noticed a change in her and was kind of confused, and like they were telling her to be herself rather than... But they said be herself, but like... Obviously, without the context of the plot twist, you're thinking, okay, like you have to be original, but they meant be yourself as in be Sumire, not Kasumi. So... I mean... I think Joker just never heard, or Ren just never heard Sumire's name come out of anyone's mouth. And the glasses thing, I guess. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Maybe that's the reason why she was failing at gymnastics, because she couldn't see. That's the only thing I could. That's the only thing I can, you know, point out. But one also thing as well is that Maruki's power, it changes the cognition of people. Like, for example, because you see in the Last Palace, like, he changed the cognition of the world. So, effectively... And I think as well with her phone, the reason why her phone was all bugged out was because, and wasn't working, was because it would have interfered with her cognition. I might be wrong with that. But obviously Maruki wanted everyone to have their own wishes fulfilled, so she wanted to be Kasumi. Therefore, you know, her phone was always bugging out. It wasn't like, so whenever her parents or anyone would text her, it would never say to Mirai or whatever. That's what I'd assume is the reason why. But yeah, I guess you can call it like a mini inconsistency, I guess, but I wouldn't call it a plot hole. One could surmise that she's wearing contacts, so that's not a big deal. However, when Rin finds out she can use persona, she's left out of the plot. The fantasy story, it's done to keep the original narrative and mostly intact. Again, though, it's convenient to leave it out. Yeah, I guess so. Jose's fate. Now, Jose is a character who... I don't know what they're going to do with him. I'm assuming Jose is going to be the next Igor. That's the only thing I can think of. Because I don't know where he comes from. I'm not sure if maybe in the mobile game he's mentioned, but I don't think he is. Maybe in Persona 3 he's mentioned, like the remake, maybe, but I don't think he's mentioned in the remake. I need to play the remake, actually. You know, it's actually funny, I played 5-4, but I've never played 3 before. Okay, yeah. Ooh. Let's not look at that. Jose is the young kid the party comes across in Mementos, no diddy. His basic story is that he came there to learn about humans and to also drink flowers. I don't actually know what the flower thing is either. One can fight him if they collect all his star stamps, but even that is wrong. That's one thing I will say about video game journalists or people that write articles. A lot of them do write it pretty quickly. Because you don't have to collect all this stamps to fight him. But even if one does, at least I don't think so. I don't remember. I don't think you have to. I'm pretty sure you don't. But even if one does defeat him, he just drives away. There's no real conclusion to his character. This matches up with a lot of other mysterious characters that fit into his role to fill with remasters. It's just the role they assigned. Yeah. The reason why I genuinely think his role was left unresolved is because of the whole thing with Igor's voice act in Japan, because obviously he unfortunately did pass away. I think it was during the creation of Persona 5, so that's the reason why. Well, it's not actually the reason why, but it's kind of like not lucky but coincidental that the Igor in Persona 5 is not actually Igor. So when the voice actor that played Igor in Japan had to obviously do his lines, I think they either used Ryu's lines or they obviously just used the lines that they needed him to do, which weren't that much. He wasn't that much in the game, you know. But yeah, I'm assuming Jose is just gonna be the next Igor, because the way Japan does it is that in Japan, if voice actors, if they die, you don't, you know, or pass away. So my apologies, but if they pass away, then you don't recast them. You bring in a whole different character, because there's a lot of respect in someone's role. If that makes any sense in Japan, but yeah. I mean, in like the West, I was gonna say America, but in the West, they've started kind of doing that now, but yeah, it's just more so in Japan. At the end of the original game, Akechi is presumed dead after he closed the bulkhead on the ship to fight his cognitive other self. In this expansion, another version shows up, which is later revealed to be filled as just a wish mark he granted. Oh, okay. That is to say, it's fake. However, if one is able to get the best ending of the game, Akechi, or someone wearing his clothes, walks by Ren's train. Do I think Akechi is dead? I think Akechi is dead as long as the writers want him to be dead. I don't think he's dead. Purely because, well, it's hard to say. I think with Persona 5 and Royal, they planned on doing spin-offs. But for whatever reason, the only spin-off they've had is obviously Strikers, which was already in development for 5. That's the reason why it doesn't have anything in like relating to Royal. Obviously Persona 5 Tactics or Tactica. I'm not too sure if when that one is based, it might be just following 5 or it might be based. I don't actually know. You know, so I won't be able to tell you there. And obviously the mobile game. I'm assuming they would keep. I'm assuming Kechi's alive. You know, I feel like in the later games they'll probably run for reference and be like, "Oh yeah, he was actually alive." Or yeah, I don't think he's dead. I don't think he's dead. Like if he was alive, I mean, he'd be in prison. if we're being real, if he just openly showed himself, like then he'd have to go prison. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think the Phantom Thieves would just let him walk through. But then again, they're a bit strange. But yeah, it's hard to say. This is definitely an unsolved mystery, but I think it's just more so a thing of, does Atlas want money? Will they do another Persona 5 game? Probably. So Akechi would probably be alive. The end. Ooh, let me just make sure. Go. To tack on that plot point, also on the train, Ren gets a buzz on his phone. Akechi walks by as he looks down, and after that, he looks out the window to his reflection as Joker. This is a teaser, perhaps his powers weren't gone yet. Now, one can interpret this as Ren seeing himself as his true self, aka the rebellious Joker. Now that gamers know that there's another game coming out. Oh, so this was done before Persona 5 Scramble, yeah. Striker. Scrambles was, if I recall, Scramble was the original name of Strikers. Or am I wrong? Let me just quickly... Because now that I'm thinking about it, that does sound kind of familiar. Bear with me 1 second. Yeah, it was the original name of Strikers, okay. And no, it's not a direct sequel. Bruh, they did not do their research when they did this article. It was not a direct sequel. It's a direct sequel to 5, not Royal. But no, that game is no. Um, there's no issue here. There's no unresolved mystery or no issue here. I think that scene, all it basically just says is Joker still has his powers. I don't think it relates to the metaverse, but I'm assuming it's just because the reason why I'm saying this is because for example, Arakami, Makoto, they both have their powers technically, obviously, if they were still alive. At least I'd assume so. I think because obviously the Dark Hour goes in Persona 3, so obviously it wouldn't. It's hard to explain. If they were put in the same world, they'd obviously have their same power. So maybe they're talking about in the context of the world at the current time. Yes, the metaverse is gone, which means yes, the Joker's power would not be there. But if the metaverse did return, he'd have his powers. That's what I'm trying to say. But honestly, the reflection at the end, I feel like it was just I feel like it was teasing something, like a potential sequel, but it can also be interpreted because the ending is kind of interpretable. I think you could just interpret it as, he just sees himself as the Phantom Thief, not just random Amamimi. I hope I'm saying that name right. I can't say his name. But yeah. I think it is just the whole thing he's reflecting. Like, he just sees his true self. But it also was probably meant to be a teaser for another game. Is there an American Mementos? What does this even mean? This has nothing to do with the plot threads dangling, but it's a question that certain fans are curious about. How does Mementos work? Is the version in the game just pertain to Tokyo, or is it a nationwide thing? For that matter, does every country have their Mementos? Is there one in the United? What kind of stupid question is this? What kind of stupid question is this? Oh, this is okay. This guy, he ran out of ideas, and at number one he was just like, "Is it American no memento?" Gee, what? Oh, I'm thinking of the Velvet Room. Mementos. I'm thinking of the Velvet Room. My bad. And American Mementos. No. As far as I'm aware, no. There shouldn't be, because unless there's a Mementos in America, I thought you meant the Velvet Room or something. My bad. But unless there's a metaverse in America, Mementos shouldn't exist. So no. I think. Excuse me. I think if they were because I do remember they did say something about the game being on a global scale, obviously them going to different countries. But that's not canon. I don't even have to speak about that. That's not really canon. But even if they were going to do it like that, then yeah, Mementos would have just existed on a global scale. It wouldn't have just been something that pertained to Tokyo. But because it doesn't exist on a global scale, Mementos is purely a Japanese thing because the metaverse doesn't exist outside of Japan. It gets destroyed as well, so I mean. But yeah, I guess that's the end of the video. That's the end of the video. Were there any other plot holes or relevant story things that were not solved that you guys, would have liked to see solved, or things that this guy did not mention? I obviously don't. The person who wrote the article. Let me actually give his credit. It was, let's see. Tristan Jerkovic. Yep, give him his credit. Obviously, some things that were plot holes, some things were nitpicks, but obviously a lot of things are subjective. So, let me know what you guys thought about this list. Make sure to share your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.